Hi, you're with India Post Live, India's first online news conversation web TV. I'm Ishan Russell, and of course, India Post Live is a forum where we want to talk to you. Yes, you, the viewer, if you want to come in and talk to us, you're most welcome to do so. Just go to indiapostlive.com, log in over there, ask your question. You can even give a response if you want to come in via video and chat with us. You're most welcome to do so. We have a whole host of experts coming in on various issues, so we'd love to have a conversation with you about anything that you want to talk under the sun. And today we're talking about what many would call it the dish that really defines a whole cuisine. That's the Mughlai cuisine, and that's biryani. And now not just Mughlai, but it's defining a whole lot of cuisines, including some pizza outlets that have started serving biryani as well. So these big multinational pizza chains are also adopting biryani. That's how popular it is. First, let's take you through the story about the biryani itself.
We are a nation of foodies, and food is what we never seem to agree on, especially when it comes to biryani. With different avatars that come from different cities, from different recipes to secret procedures, biryani is also our favorite topic for discussion. So which biryani is the best? Is it the Kachi biryani from Hyderabad, the Calcutta biryani, Kerala's Malabar biryani, or the Lucknowi biryani? Is the Bombay Tawa biryani the best, or is it the Karachi beef biryani? The debate is a never-ending one, and may the best biryani win.
Alright, so you come out in support of your own biryani. Which kind of biryani do you like the most? Do write into us. You can join us via Twitter, hashtag India Post Live to your tweets, or use our Twitter handle, that's at India Post Live. Join us via Facebook if you want to if you want to if you want to send us a pigeon, a courier pigeon, do that. Just get in touch with us, and because every vote counts in this battle for the biryani. And I have with me Mr. Sohail Hashmi. He's a renowned activist, a filmmaker, social commentator, writer. So what would your favorite kind of biryani be, and why is the biryani so special to so many people?
Well, I think as far as the question of favorite biryani is concerned, everybody's favorite biryani is the biryani that their mothers cook.
Mine is
and the biryani that they have grown up eating. And but you know, there is this common thing about all biryanis, that the preferred rice is basmati. So across the,
my mother makes it in golden Sela.
Basmati. Sela made from basmati.
I'll go pick it up, yes. So I know.
Yeah, Sela made from basmati.
Okay.
Well, that is how at least it is cooked in North India. Yeah. Now, there are all kinds of claims to biryani. We hear that there is the word biryan has Persian, Turkish origins, and biryan in Persian means to roast. So there is a possibility that that is where it has its origins. People who've been working on this, they suggest that it probably arrived in India during the time of the Mughals. And so a Turkish-Persian connection is certainly there. On the borders of Iran and Pakistan, in the Sistan, Balochistan area, there is a village called Biryani. So I don't know whether there is a connection. But so you know, one hears of biryani in that connection, and if you start looking at meat and rice cooked together, then all over Central Asia, in Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, in that entire area, you have rice and meat cooked together, and they call it pilaf. Yeah. And but in Afghanistan, there is something which is called biryan. Now, biryani is feminine, biryan is masculine. And the only place in India where you can get biryan as it was cooked by the Pathans is in Bhopal. Because a large population of Pathans shifted to Delhi during the time of the last woman ruler of Bhopal during Sultan Jahan's time, so which was about 2 generations ago. So the tradition of biryan from Afghanistan is very live in Bhopal. Now, there is something which is known as biryani in Kerala. It doesn't look like anything like our biryani. It's their biryani. The North Indian biryani, the Lucknow, Delhi biryani, the rice has to be white.
Yes.
Some people add a little bit of yellow on saffron on a little bit of rice, but broadly it has to be white. But the Kerala biryani or the Hyderabad biryani or even the Calcutta biryani, the rice is almost doused in spices. From almost a brown color in Kerala to a pale yellow or pale brown in Bengal or Bihar. There are these variations. The Hyderabad biryani is eaten with boiled eggs. The Calcutta biryani is eaten with boiled potato. They are cooked with the biryani. The biryani in Bihar, they put whole green chilies in it. In Lucknow and Delhi, that is unheard of. So you can't have whole spices or whole chilies in biryani. Forget boiled eggs and potatoes. But people have their tastes, and there are.
So I think, why did it become such a cultural symbol? I want to ask nutritionist Nidhi Tayal. She joins us from Delhi via Google Hangout, and as you can see, we have a whole host of people coming in from all across the country talking about biryani. This is such a, in an election that has divided this completely country completely, I thank God for food that is uniting us over here. Nidhi, why is biryani so popular? Is it, you give nutrition consultancies to a lot of people. How many people would you say are addicted to biryani?
See, your question was not very clear, but as much as I could make out, all I can say is it's the most wholesome food. It's a one dish meal which gives you almost all the nutrients, micronutrients, and the one dish caters to all your recommendatory dietary allowances for the day. So as a nutritionist, that becomes a very popular point for me to recommend biryani to all my patients. And then the wholesome goodness of the spices and herbs which use in stewing or pot broiling that biryani. India is a very rich country when it comes to herbs and spices, and we've been using them. Ayurveda, naturopathy, all these kind of alternative therapies have been recommending the use of spices and herbs for a lot of medicinal purposes. So which makes biryani not only a popular cuisine, but also a very healthy cuisine.
All right, Nidhi, in fact, we have other callers as well. I'll just go to them and ask them to introduce themselves. And yes, this is Iqbal Kidwai joining us from Lucknow. Thanks very much, my producer, for that. So, Iqbal bhai, I would say that I'm a little biased over here. I'm from Lucknow as well. So, I would say that our region produces the best biryani. What makes the Lucknowi biryani stand out?
Well, I would quite agree with you that why only the biryani? I think the food in Lucknow is the best. But I say that with the qualification that now that I've traveled a lot, I do appreciate the food from other places also. But still, I would only grudgingly give to Delhi the fact that the Nahari might be a bit better than ours, but otherwise we are far superior. I just think it's because Lucknow, the spices are very subtle. Compared to other places that I've had biryani. But it's not that I don't like it. I love the biryani in the south of India. They're fantastic. I discovered them much later in life. They're super. But it's just that, like I think gentleman said in the studio, he had said that you grow up with a certain biryani. Your mother makes a certain kind of biryani. You grow up with it. That's your taste. So I personally would always like the biryani that we have here, which we used to always call pulao. The term biryani has sort of appeared now into the lexicon in Lucknow, but earlier it used to be always pulao. The wedding was pulao, the home was pulao, yakhni pulao, this pulao, that pulao. But biryani was always an alien thing which came out of somewhere else. But now I've noticed in the last few years that everyone seems to call it biryani, even in the restaurants it's called biryani. Even the yakhni pulao is called biryani. So I suppose it's all a matter of tastes and flavors, but we definitely have the best. And it's very subtle, the flavoring and the aromas.
All right, we have some other voices. There is Meera, who's a food blogger. She joins us from Delhi. Meera, thanks very much for coming in. Which is your favorite kind of biryani? How many biryanis have you experienced, and which stands out for you?
I think recently I went to Hyderabad, and I can say that biryani was definitely the best. Of course, Hyderabadi biryani is very famous, but I've also recently tried biryani from Karnataka, and it was very different. I didn't particularly enjoy that. Different flavors, of course, but compared to the biryani that we get in Delhi, it's very popular in Delhi, but the flavors, the way they gel with each other in the Hyderabadi biryani, it's like completely different.
All right, so you're vouching for the Hyderabadi biryani, but let's get an
Yeah.
international perspective on this as well. We have a voice coming in from all the way from Dhaka in Bangladesh. Ashraful Islam joins us. Ashraf, thanks very much for coming in. But what would the Bangladeshi biryani be? What does it taste like? I mean, we can't taste it right now, but what is the Bangladeshi biryani all about? Tell us.
Okay. Firstly, my name was, declared wrong. My name is Asif Salahuddin.
Oh, sorry,
and
Asif.
Nick is Lenin. Okay. All about Bangladeshi biryani is mostly concentrated in the old Dhaka part. Most famous, everybody talks about them, Hajir biryani, and that is another Haji Nanna Mia. Those two are most famous, and there comes biryani, and there are other new biryanis. Like last year in Pahela Boishak, the Bengali New Year day, our office had a potluck party, and my mother just made a new cuisine called Bashanti biryani for the first time ever. She learned in a program from a TV show, and everyone liked that food. There were like shrimp, ilish, and many other items from everyone in the party, but everyone liked that specific food. It just nailed everyone's mind. I mean, biryani means everything. So in Bangladesh, we have the tradition of preparing this special sort of food with everything in it. And I think best to me is my mother's cooking. She makes it best, and I tend to taste other cuisines whenever possible. But still, I mostly like her own cooking.
I think we have consensus as far as the best biryani is concerned.
Yes,
I'm sorry
absolutely,
already. Everybody's
absolutely.
mothers
Yes,
won that
yes,
contest. But we'll still try to see the different kind of taste and how the biryanis really travel, sir. I mean, it's completely traveled all across the country and all across Asia, it seems. I mean, even you said it started from Central Asia and now it's all the way down to Eastern Asia and going down further to Southeastern Asia now, is it?
But you see, the funny thing is that, as I was telling you in the beginning, that the preferred rice in which it is cooked is basmati or basmati sela. Now, basmati is a typical invention, or say gradually it was evolved in the UP hills. The best basmati comes from Dehradun, and this basmati has traveled. So in Iran, I was just reading last week, I don't know somebody writes a regular column on food, and I forget his name, and he said that there is a preparation which is just steamed basmati rice with a little touch of lemon and salt, which is served in Iran, which is eaten as a full separate dish altogether. You don't add anything to it, so that the natural flavor of
The rice comes through.
basmati comes out. And whoever is making biryani essentially deals with, is working with basmati. And the idea is to retain the flavor of basmati. Now, to my mind, if the flavor of basmati is lost, then 80% of the flavor of biryani is lost. And that is why, as the Iqbal from Lucknow was saying, the flavors have to be subtle.
Yeah, I think other than North India, the flavors, I mean, the use of spices, especially in, I think, the South Indian biryanis, and if anybody wants to come in and talk about South Indian biryanis beating North Indian biryanis, please go ahead. You're most welcome to do so. But there are too many ground spices. I mean, that's what I personally feel. That it's just too spice-laden, isn't it?
Yeah. And you're talking of biryani everywhere. You see, a strange kind of uniformity is happening in our cuisine. which is, I find
Any
it
rice
very,
with yellow color and meat is not being
no,
called
I
biryani.
find it very disturbing that you walk into a restaurant, you have menu comes to you, which says Indian on top. Then it says Mughlai. Now there is nothing called Mughlai. It should be Mughaliya. But anyway, so Indian, Mughlai, South Indian, Chinese. As if Mughlai food or Mughaliya food you can get anywhere else in the country, in the world. Mughaliya food evolved in India. So it is as much Indian as what is Tom Tom to you as Indian. South Indian apparently is not Indian because it is listed separately. And that, so you have Indian, you have Mughaliya, you have South Indian, and you have Chinese.
With the Chinese also get shocked about it.
And yes, and if you look at the menu of the Indian, there are no vegetables. This division would make you think that probably Indian was vegetarian. There are no vegetables in it. There is all varieties of paneer, which was brought to India by the Portuguese, and mushroom. Where are the vegetables in it? So that is called Indian. And the same thing is happening. Now you have anybody cooking rice in any shape, whether it has butter in it or it has meat in it, beef in it, or lamb in it, or chicken in it, or shrimp in it, they call it biryani. Now, I think,
what would be the distinction? I mean, and this, I think Iqbal would be able to answer this. Iqbal, it's coming to you. What would be the difference between biryani and pulao? I mean, we're talking about the region where it started from. So, what would be the difference between biryani and pulao? Because I see pulao masquerading as biryani in many restaurants these days.
You see, the thing is that I have spoken about this to many people, and somehow, other than the way of usage, there just doesn't seem to be a consensus on what the difference is. When you were much younger, I was told that the biryanis, the meats are cooked separately and then layered in the rice, and then they're put in dum together. And essentially in pulao, the yakhni is cooked, and then the meat and rice are cooked together, kind of thing. So that was the essential sort of difference. And there was a gravy which was made with the meat and for the biryani, and then the combination of the meat and the rice at the layering time, at the time of the dum, along with the gravy gave it a flavor, and a much stronger flavor than the yakhni, which was very lightly spiced. There was more aroma than more aromatic spices than flavoring spices in the yakhni. So that was the difference that I knew of. But then later, I mean, there have been so many other opinions and views, and from people who know a lot about food professionally. I am, of course, definitely not a professional. I'm just a very fond foodie. So I'm not very sure how to answer your question. But as far as I'm concerned, it's either are good as long as they're tasty.
All right, but sir, the biryani and pulao, this is, I think a lot of people get confused as far as biryani and pulao are concerned.
I think what Iqbal is suggesting, I think, is essentially the difference. That you prepared a yakhni, the kind of a soup which had the soup from the meat, and a touch of spices, some little garlic, some little.
You have a stock ready.
Stock ready, and then you add the stock to rice, and when the rice is 3/4 done, then you layer rice, meat, and then you cook it on slow fire. That is what biryani was. Right. Pilau, I think, or pilaf as they call it, or pulao as we call it, was a whole lot of things cooked together. So I think that is the essential difference. In the very consumption of biryani also, there is a strange kind of uniformity that is happening. Because now you go to social functions and you see people taking huge quantities of korma and dunking it on biryani and eating it with that. That destroys the entire flavor of biryani. Biryani was traditionally eaten with a little bit of curd, a raita of curd, which had a little, red chili and garlic added to it. A paste of that added to a lot of curd, and that brought out the flavors of biryani. But now you drown the poor thing in korma, so it has no taste. It has no taste. You destroy the korma, you destroy the biryani, but that is how a lot of people are eating it.
All right, so if that certainly seems to be the popular way. And Nidhi, coming to you, as far as I mean, the entire food revolution goes, now we see even pizza joints serving biryani. So the biryani is really taken over popular culture, as they say in India. I mean, it might be the most popular food around, at least if a family is going out. But
I don't know whether it will beat the dosa.
Dosa in terms of fast food, yes. I mean, on the street, I mean, you can't beat dosa in terms of volume. In terms of volume.
Yeah, turnover volume you can't beat.
Yes, but in terms of just attitude, I think biryani has enough attitude itself. But Nidhi, talking about the kinds of biryani, various kinds of biryani, I mean, I just asked you a question. It's completely slipping my mind right now. I just lost that chain of thought. So I'll put another question to you. As far as people are concerned, and yeah, it was about modern food chains. How biryani has become a modern food. Talk to us a little bit about that.
First of all, why do we have to only talk about the takeaways or eating out when it comes to biryani? Besides being a nutritionist, I am a mother of 2 boys. So if I get to give them the wholesome nutrition in one dish, why not make it a choice? B, see, cuisines have to change because it's all about marketing yourself. So they have to change. And to appeal to an Indian palate, even the bigger chains like Pizza Hut and all are now Indianizing their international menus. So they are introducing Indian tastes there. Like Biriza has recently been launched, which is a combination of pizza and biryani. So this is how they are catering to Indian markets and making their own food more popular, and they're serving your own ancient cuisine and just masquerade it in a new way.
Alright, so pizza and biryani, is it a combination that you'd like? Please do write into us because I'd like to know your views on that one. Hashtag India Post Live to your tweets or at India Post Live, that's the Twitter handle. Or just go to indiapostlive.com, log in over there. If you want to come in and talk about your biryani, if you think you can cook biryani better than anybody else, come talk about it. Meera is here with us. Meera, thanks very much for sitting so patiently and listening to us. But let's talk about the choice of meats in biryani. Alright, so everybody, I mean, I prefer mutton biryani over chicken biryani any day, but then there are a whole host of other meats that go into biryani these days. And does a subs biryani qualify as a biryani? That's the other question. Meera, go ahead.
I personally don't think subs biryani qualifies as a biryani, but when it comes to meats, I think prawn biryani is very popular. I mean, if you go to Goa, it's more popular than chicken biryani or mutton biryani, so that should definitely be one of the top on my list.
Prawn biryani. Iqbal bhai, which one would you prefer? Which is your favorite meat as far as to go with the biryani?
So I personally think that nothing to beat mutton, which we are so used to. In fact, I think it's one of the finest meats that you can have in chicken, prawns, fish, whatever. We belong to a landlocked place. Lucknow is very landlocked, and from time immemorial, availability of fish is very limited.
Despite the gomti there.
Just roe and salt. So we have mutton, we love mutton, we enjoy our mutton, and well, heaven help the arteries, but that's it.
All right, Asif, I want to come to you. As far you were talking about shrimp and other stuff, what kind of meats would your biryani have all the way in Dhaka there? Well, we seem to have lost that. Asif, we cannot hear you. I just request you to just stop for a second because we cannot hear you. Just unmute your mic if you can. I think you've muted your mic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot to unmute. There are 3 types of meat in Bangladesh we eat in biryanis, like mutton, beef, and chicken. I like chicken most, and I was telling about that Bashanti biryani. That was a mix of those chicken and mutton, and then also it had some vegetable ingredients like the carrots, those beans, and that is in Bangla Matrashidi. I can't remember what's it's called in English. That made it so delicious. I can't forget the taste. And I was listening to the show about those Basmati as the rice, and we have other pulao rices. One is special called kali jira, which makes it fine grains of rice, which makes it more delicious. And also we have a Kolkata biryani in the old Dhaka. I had a guest from India, Kolkata, last month, who tasted it and said that it was almost like the same taste in their Kolkata. Uh, Mostly I like chicken.
All right, chicken. Nidhi, but does subs biryani, is the sabzi biryani constitute to be, I mean, is it really a biryani? Because I still think it's vegetable pulao that just has color added to it. Is there a vegetable biryani? I mean, for all the vegetarians out there, if you think I'm wrong, please write into us and say that you're wrong.
See, personally speaking, yes, vegetable biryani can be a biryani. Why not? A lot of people in India are eating it and they relish it. So we are nobody to question it, why it is not counted as biryani. But see, I can answer your question as a nutritionist that when we are serving vegetable biryani, if we are not adding any food to add protein content to it, it cannot be counted as a wholesome food. So if you need to count it as a wholesome food, it has to be mutton biryani or chicken biryani. And most so ever, keeping health in mind, these days, the fitness in mind, the more popular thing is going to be chicken biryani, because red meats is how we don't recommend much.
All right, but I don't know. I can't never make out the difference between chicken and paneer.
No, I think there is also this thing, you know, and a nutritionist is with us, but this whole thing of red meat that has suddenly taken over everybody. We don't consume red meat in India, because red meat is pork and beef. There is very little pork and beef consumed in India. The mutton that we consume, bulk of the goats that go into producing mutton, they come from Rajasthan and you know, Haryana, and then the semi-arid or arid areas. There is hardly any fat in that meat. Actually, chicken has far more fat than our spare
poor little goats.
Yeah. So I don't know why mutton has been placed. The French mutton, which is mouton, which is sheep, that has far more fat. But goat's meat, which is not eaten anywhere except for the subcontinent and the poorer parts of the third world, that is where goats are consumed as meat. I don't think it is red meat, and one should